Heads. Heads.
There is an art to the building up of suspense.
Heads.
76 love.
A weaker man might be moved to re-examine his fate, if in nothing else, at least in the law of probability.
Heads.
The law of probability, as it has been oddly asserted, is something to do with the proposition that if six monkeys were
Game.
a game. The law of averages, if I've got this right, means that if 6 monkeys were thrown up into the air for long enough, they would land on their tails at least as often as they would land on their
Heads.
which at first glance does not strike one as a particularly rewarding speculation in either sense. I mean, you wouldn't bet on it. I mean, I would, but you wouldn't.
Heads. Getting a bit of a bore, isn't it?
A bore?
Well,
What about suspense?
what's suspense?
It must be the law of diminishing returns. I feel the spell about to be broken.
85 in a row. Beating the record.
Don't be absurd.
What?
Is that it then? Is that all?
Well, I won, didn't I?
And if you'd lost? If they'd come down against you, 85 in a row, one after another, just like that.
85 in a row. Tails.
Yes! What would you think?
Well, I'd have a good look at your coins for a start.
I'm relieved. I suppose we can still count on self-interest as a predictable factor. I suppose it's the last to go. Your capacity for trust made me wonder if perhaps you alone... Touch. We've been spinning coins together since... This is not the first time we've spun coins.
Oh no, we've been spending coins for as long as I remember.
How long is that?
I forgot. Mind you, 85 times. Heads. I'm afraid.
So am I.
I'm afraid it isn't your day.
I'm afraid it is.
89.
It must be indicative of something besides a redistribution of wealth. List of possible explanations. 1, I'm willing it. Inside, where nothing shows, on the essence of a man spinning double-headed coins and betting against himself in private atonement for an unremembered past. And 2, time is stopped dead, and the single practice of one coin being spun once has been repeated 90 times. On the whole, doubtful. 3, divine intervention. That is to say, a good turn from above concerning him.
I've never known anything like it.
And syllogism. 1, he has never known anything like it. 2, he has never known anything to write home about. 3, it is nothing to write home about. Home! What is the first thing you remember?
Well, let's see. The first thing that comes to my head, you mean?
No. The first thing you remember.
Oh! No, it's no good. It's gone. It was a long time ago.
You don't get my meaning. What is the first thing after all the things you forgot?
Oh, I see. I've forgotten the question.
What are you going to do now?
I don't know. What do you want to do?
I have no desires. None. A messenger arrived! That's right. We were sinful. Syllogism the second. 1, probability is a factor which operates within natural forces. 2, probability is not operating as a factor. 3, we are within un, sub, or supernatural forces. Discuss. Not too heatedly.
I'm sorry. What's the matter with you?
a scientific approach to the examination of phenomena, is a defense against the pure emotion of fear. If we postulate, and we just have, that within un, sub, or supernatural forces, the probability is that the law of probability will not operate as a factor within un, sub, or supernatural forces, which is a great relief to me personally. Which is all very well, except that a messenger arrived. We had been sent for. Nothing else happened. 92 coins spun consecutively, came down heads 92 consecutive times, and for the last 3 minutes, on the wind of a windless day, I've heard the sound of drums and guitar. Do you remember the first thing that happened today?
I woke up, I suppose. Oh! I've got it. That man, a foreigner, he woke us up.
A messenger!
We were sent for.
Yes!
That's why we're here traveling.
Yes!
It was urgent. A matter of extreme urgency. A royal summons. His very words. Official business and no questions asked in breakneck pursuit of our duty. Fearful lest we come too late.
Too late? For what?
And I know, we haven't got there yet.
Then what are we doing here, I ask myself.
Right. On where?
Forward.
Which way did we... I say, I thought I heard music.
Yes.
Like a band. It sounded like a band. Drums.
Yes.
Huh. Couldn't have been real. Must have been thunder, like drums.
A man, breaking his journey between one place and another, at a third place of no name, character, population, or significance, sees a unicorn cross his path and disappear. My God, says the second man, I must be dreaming. I thought I saw a unicorn. The more witnesses there are, the thinner it gets, and the more reasonable it becomes until it is as thin as reality, the name we give to the common experience. Look, look, recites the crowd, a horse with an arrow in its forehead. It must have been mistaken for a deer.
I knew all along it was a band.
I knew all along it was a band.
Here they come!
Sorry it wasn't a unicorn. It would have been nice to have unicorns.
Halt! An audience. Don't move. Perfect. A lucky thing we came along.
Why's that?
Why, we grow rusty, and you catch us at the very point of decadence. By this time tomorrow, we might have forgotten everything we ever knew. That's a thought, isn't it? We'd be back to where we started, improvising.
Tumblers, are you?
We can give you a tumble, if that's your taste, and times being what they are. Otherwise, for a jingle of coin, we can give you a selection of gory romances, full of fine cadence, and corpses, pirated from the Italian. And it doesn't take much to make a jingle. Even a single coin has music in it.
My name is Guildenstern, and this is Rosencrantz. I'm sorry, his name's Guildenstern, and I'm Rosencrantz.
A pleasure. We played the bigger, of course. But, quality counts for something.
I recognized you at once.
And who are we?
Fellow artists.
I thought we were gentlemen.
For some of us, it is performance. For others, patronage. They are two sides of the same coin. Or, shall we say, being as there are so many of us, the same side of two coins?
Well, don't clap too loudly. It's a very old world.
What is your line?
Tragedy, sir. Debts and disclosures. Universal and particular. Denouement, both unexpected and inexorable.
Including the suggestive.
We transport you into the world of intrigue and illusion. Clowns, if you like. Murderers. skirmish level. Heroes! Villains! Tormented lovers! Set pieces in the poetic vein.
We can do your swords! Or sex.
By all means, faithless wives, ravished virgins.
For granting delecto at a price.
But that comes under realism, for which there are special terms getting warm in my.
Well, I don't know.
It costs little to watch.
And a little bit more if you get part of the reaction.
If that's your taste, times being what they are. Now, what precisely is your pleasure? Gentlemen, disport yourselves! There. See anything you like?
What do they do?
Let your imagination run riot.
They are beyond surprise.
And how much?
To take part.
To watch.
Watch what?
A private performance?
How private?
Well, there are only two of us. Is that enough?
For an audience, disappointing. For voyeurs, about average.
What's the difference?
10 guilders.
10 guild.
Onward!
Where are you going?
Halt! Home, sir.
Where from?
Home. We are traveling people.
We take our chances where we find them.
It was chance then.
Chance?
You found us.
Oh, yes.
You were looking.
Oh, no.
Chance then.
Or fate.
Or fate.
Yours or ours?
Could hardly be one without the other.
Fate then.
Oh, yes. We have no control.
Tonight we play to the court.
Or the next night.
Or to the tavern.
Or not.
Perhaps I could use my influence.
At the tavern.
At the court? I would say I have some influence.
Would you say so?
I have influence yet.
Yet what?
I have influence! You said something about getting caught up in the action.
I did. You're quicker than your friend. Now, for a handful of people, I happen to have a private and uncut performance of The Passions of the Sabine Women. Or rather, woman. Or rather, Alfred. Get your skirt on, Alfred! And for age, participate. Taking either part or both for 10 with encores. Get your skirt off, Alfred!
It could have been. It didn't have to be obscene. But it's this, is it? No enigma, no dignity, nothing classical, portentous, only this. A comic pornographer and a rabble of prostitutes.
You should have caught us in better times. We were purists then. Onward!
Excuse me.
Halt! Alfred.
You are not exclusively players then.
We're inclusively players, sir.
So you give exhibitions?
Performances, sir!
Yes, of course. There's more money in that, is there?
There's more trade, sir.
I mean, what exactly do you do?
We keep to our usual stuff.
We do on stage the things that are supposed to happen off.
Which is a kind of integrity if you look at every exit being an entrance somewhere else.
Well, I'm not really the type of man who... Well, all right. I wouldn't mind seeing just an idea of the kind of... What will you do for that?
What are you playing at?
Filth! Disgusting! I know the kind of filth you trade in. I'll report you to the authorities, perverts! I know your game, all right! It's all filth!
Do you like a bet?
Halt! What kind of bet do you have in mind?
Double or quits.
Well, heads.
Again. Heads. Again. Heads. Again.
Tails!
Heads.
No!
They don't like the odds.
I'd say they were in your favor.
No!
Heads I win.
No!
And right again. Heads I win.
No!
Would you believe it? Bet me the year of my birth doubled is an odd number.
You're on.
Good. Double it. Even numbers I win, odd numbers I lose.
We have no money.
Ah. Then what have you got?
It's the best we've got.
Then the times are bad indeed. Come here, Alfred. You lose often.
Yes, sir.
Do you like being an actor?
No, sir.
Well, you and I, Alfred, we could create a dramatic precedent here. Oh, come, Alfred. This is no way to fill the theaters. Do you know any good plays?
Plays?
Exhibitions.
I thought you were actors.
Well, we are.
We are.
But there hasn't been much cause for...
You lost. Well then, one of the Greeks, perhaps? You're familiar with the tragedies of antiquity, are you? The great homicidal classics? Matri, patri, fratri, sorori, uxori, and it goes without saying.
Saucy.
Your kind of thing, is it?
Can't say that I do, sir.
Well, then I'll leave the choice. Then I'll leave the choice to you if there is anything to choose between them.
They're hardly divisible. Well, I can do blood and rhetoric without the love. And I can do love and blood without rhetoric. And I can do all three concurrent or consecutive. But I can't give you blood, love and blood, or love and rhetoric without blood. Yes. Blood is compulsory. They're all blood, you see.
Is this what people want?
It's what we do.
Thank you. We'll let you know.
38, entrances there and there.
Well, aren't you going to change in the costume?
I never change out, sir.
Well, aren't you going to come on stage?
I am on.
But if you are on, then you can't come on, can you?
I start on.
But it hasn't started. Go on. We'll look out for you.
I'll give you a wave.
Excuse me. Thank you.
Come on.
Oh, I say, that was lucky.
What?
It was Tails.
Welcome, dear Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. Something have you heard of Hamlet's transformation, so call it, since nor the exterior nor interior man resembles that it was. What it should be more than his father's death that has put him so much from the understanding of himself, I cannot dream of. I pray you both, being of such young days brought up with him, to draw him onto pleasures, and gather as from occasion you may glean whether aught to us unknown afflicts him thus, that open lies within our remedy.
Good. Gentlemen, he hath much talked of you, and sure I am to men there are not living to whom he more adheres. If you will be so gracious as to show us so much gentry and goodwill as to expend your time with us a while for the supply and profit of our hope, your visitation shall receive such thanks as fits a king's remembrance.
Both your majesties might, by the sovereign power you have on us, put your dread pleasure more into command than to entreaty.
But we both obey, and here give up ourselves in the full bent, to lay our service freely at your feet, to be commanded.
Thanks, Rosencrantz, and gentle Guildenstern.
Prince Guildenstern and gentle Rosencrantz, and I beseech you instantly to visit my too much changed son. Go, some of you, and bring these gentlemen where Hamlet is.
Heaven make our presence and our practices pleasant and helpful to him.
Aye, amen.
The ambassadors from Norway, my good lord, have joyfully returned.
Thou still hast been the father of good news.
Have I, my lord? I just promised my good liege that I hold my duty as I hold my soul, both to my God and to my gracious king. And I do think, or else this brain of mine doth not hunt the trail of policy for sure as it hath used to do, that I have found the very cause of Hamlet's lunacy.
I want to go home.
Don't let them confuse you.
Out of step here. I'm over my step, over my head body. It's stopping to a death. It's boating to a death. It's stepping to a head. It's heading to a dead stop. You made me look ridiculous in there.
I looked as ridiculous as you did.
I want to go home. Which way did we come in? I've lost my sense of direction.
The only beginning is birth, and the only end is death. If we can't count on that, what can we count on?
We don't owe anything to anyone.
We've been caught up. Your smallest action sets off another somewhere else, and is set off by it. Keep an eye open, an ear cocked. Tread warily, follow instructions. We'll be all right.
For how long?
Till events have played themselves out. There's a logic at work. It's all done for you. Don't worry. Enjoy it. Relax.
I don't remember. What have we got to go on?
We've been briefed. Hamlet's transformation. What do you recollect?
Well, he's changed, hasn't he? The exterior and inward man fails to resemble...
Draw him onto pleasures. Glean what afflicts him.
something more than his father's death.
He's always talking about us. There aren't two people living whom he dotes on more than us.
We cheer him up. Find out what's the matter.
Exactly. It's the matter of asking the right questions and giving away as little as possible. It's a game.
And then we can go.
And receive such things as fits a king's remembrance.
I like the sound of that. What do you think he means by remembrance?
He doesn't forget his friends.
Wouldn't you care to estimate?
Difficult to say, really. Some kings are amnesiac. Others, the opposite, whatever that is, retentive. He's a very retentive king. A royal retainer.
What are you playing at?
Words, words. They're all we have to go on.
We could go.
Why?
And after him.
Why? They've got his place. Now, if we start moving around, we'll all be chasing each other all night.
Very intriguing. I feel like a spectator. Appalling business. The only thing that makes it bearable is the irrational belief that somebody interesting will come on in a minute.
See anyone?
No. We could play questions.
What good would that do?
Practice.
Statement, one love.
Cheating.
Foul.
I haven't started yet.
Statement, two love.
Are you counting that?
What?
Are you counting that?
Foul, no repetitions. Three love, first game to me.
I'm not going to play if you're going to be like that.
Who serve?
Huh.
Foul, no grunts, love one.
Who's go?
Why?
Why not?
What for?
Foul. No synonyms. 1-all.
What in God's name is going on?
Foul. No rhetoric. 2-1.
Were you addressing me?
Is there anyone else?
Why do you ask?
Are you serious?
Was that rhetoric?
No.
Statement, 2-all, game point.
What's the matter with you today?
Win.
What?
Are you deaf?
Am I dead?
Yes or no?
Is there a choice?
Is there a God?
Foul! No non sequiturs, 3, 2, 1, game all.
What's your name?
What's yours?
I asked you first.
Statement, one love.
What's your name when you're at home?
What's yours?
When I'm at home?
Haven't you got one?
What do you ask?
What are you driving at?
What's your name?
Repetition, 2 love, match point to me.
Who do you think you are?
Rhetoric, game, and match. Where's it going to end?
That's the question.
What's the matter with you?
It doesn't matter.
Game!
What are the rules? Rosencrantz.
What?
There. How was that?
Who was that?
Didn't you know him?
He didn't know me.
He didn't see you.
I didn't see him.
We shall see. I hardly knew him. He's
You
changed.
could see that.
Transformed.
How do you know?
Inside and out.
I see.
He's not himself.
He's changed.
I could see that. Glean what afflicts him.
Me?
Him!
How?
Question and answer. Always the best ways.
He's afflicted. Are you afflicted?
I'm afflicted.
I see.
Glean what afflicts me.
Right.
Question and answer.
How should I begin?
Address me.
My dear Guildenstern.
You've forgotten, haven't you?
My dear Rosencrantz.
I don't think you quite understand. What we are attempting is a hypothesis in which I answer for him while you ask me questions.
Statement. Oh! You mean you pretend to be him and I ask you questions?
Very good.
You had me
I could
confused.
see I had.
How should I begin?
Address me.
Most honored Lord.
My dear Rosencrantz.
Right. Most honored Lord.
My dear fellow.
How are you?
Afflicted.
Really? In what way?
Transformed.
Inside or out?
Both.
I see. Not much new there.
Go into details. Delve. Probe the background. Establish the situation.
So, your uncle is the king of Denmark.
And my father before him.
Now, let me get it straight. Your father was king. You were his only son. Your father dies. You are of age. Your uncle becomes king.
Yes.
Where were you?
In Germany.
Usurpation, then.
He slipped in.
Now, I don't want to be personal.
It's common knowledge.
Your mother's
He
marriage.
slipped in.
His body was still warm.
So was hers.
And with her husband's brother,
They were close.
she went to him
Too close.
for comfort.
It looks
It
bad.
adds up.
Incest and adultery.
Would you go so far?
Never.
To sum up, your father, whom you love, dies. You are his heir. You come back to find that barely was the corpse cold before his young brother popped onto his throne and into his sheets, thereby offending both the legal and natural basis. Now, why exactly are you behaving in this extraordinary manner?
I can't imagine. But all that is well known. Common property. Yet he sent for us, and we did come.
What's that? I thought I heard music, like a band. It sounded like a band.
Rosencrantz.
What?
Guildenstern.
What?
Go and see if he's there.
Yes.
What's he doing?
Talking.
To himself. Is he alone?
No.
Then he's not talking to himself, is he?
Well, not by himself, but coming this way, I think. Should we go?
Why? We're marked now.
For you yourself, sir, should be as old as I am, if, like a crab, you could go backwards.
Though this is madness, yet there's method in it. My lord, will you walk out of here?
Into my grave.
Indeed, that is out of air. I will leave him and suddenly contrive the means of meeting between him and my daughter. My lord, I will take my leave of you.
You cannot take anything from me that I more willingly part with all, except my life. Except my life. Except my life.
Fare thee well, my lord. You go to seek Lord Hamlet? There he is.
God save you, sir.
My honored lord.
My most dear lord.
My excellent good friends, how dost thou, Guildenstern? Rosencrantz. Good lads, how do you both?
As the indifferent children of the earth?
Let me question more in particular. What have you, my good friends, deserved at the hands of fortune that she sends you to prison hither?
Prison, my lord?
Denmark's a prison.
We think not so, my lord.
Oh God, I could be bounded in a nutshell and count myself a king of infinite space. Were not that I have bad dreams. A dream itself is but a shadow. But in the bean way of friendship, what make you at Elsinore?
To visit you, my lord, no other occasion.
Were you not sent for? Is it your own inclining? Is it a free visitation? Come, deal justly with me. Come, come. Nay, speak!
What should we say, my lord?
Why, anything, but to the purpose. You were sent for. And there is a kind of confession in your looks.
My lord, we were sinful.
I will tell you why. I have, as of late, wherefore I know not, lost all my mirth. What a piece of work is a man, how noble in reason.
To think, my lord, if you delight not in man, what Lenten entertainment the players shall receive from you. We coated them on the way, and hither are they coming to offer you service.
He that plays the king shall be welcome. Her lady shall say her mind freely, or the blank verse shall halt for it.
There are the players.
Gentlemen, you are welcome in Elsinore. Your hands, come then. The appurtenance of welcome is fashion and ceremony. Let me comply with you in this garb, lest the extent to the players, which I tell you must show fairly outwards, should more appear like entertainment than yours. You are welcome. But my uncle father and my aunt mother are deceived.
In what, my dear lord?
I am but man northwest. When the wind is southerly, I know a hawk from a handsaw.
We'll be with you, gentlemen.
Mark you, Guildenstern, and you too. At each ear, a hearer. That great baby you see there is not yet out of his swaddling clouds.
My lord, I have news for you.
My lord, I have news for you.
The actors come hither, my lord.
Buzz, words, words!
Words.
Hi?
Yes?
What?
I thought you...
No.
Ah.
Well, I think we can say we made some headway.
You think so?
I think we can say that.
I think we can say you made us look ridiculous.
We played it close to the chest, of course.
Question and answer. Old ways are the best ways. He was scoring off us all down the line.
He caught us on the wrong foot once or twice, perhaps, but I thought we gained some ground.
He murdered us.
We might have had the edge.
You think he might have had the edge? He murdered us.
What about our evasions?
Oh, our evasions were lovely. Were you sent for, he says. My lord, we were sent for. I didn't know where to put myself.
He had 6 rhetoricals.
It was question and answer, all right. 27 questions he got out in 10 minutes and answered 3. I was waiting for you to delve. When is he going to start delving, I asked myself.
And 2 repetitions. We got his symptoms, didn't we?
Half of what he said meant something else, and the other half didn't mean anything at all.
Thwarted ambition, a sense of grievance. That's my diagnosis.
6 rhetorical and 2 repetitions, leaving 19, of which we answered 15. And what did we get in return? He's depressed. Denmark's a prison, and he'd rather live in a nutshell. Some shadow play about the nature of ambition, which never got down to cases. And finally, 1 direct question, which might have led somewhere, and led in fact to his illuminating claim to tell a hawk from a handsaw. He's at the mercy of the elements. Is that wind southerly?
It doesn't look southerly. What made you think so?
I didn't say I think so.
Wait a minute. We came from roughly south according to a rough map.
I see. Which way did we come in?
Roughly. In the morning, the sun would be easterly. I think we can assume that.
That it's morning.
If it is, and the sun is over there, then that would be northerly. On the other hand, if it's not morning, and the sun is over there, then that would still be northerly. To put it another way, if we came from down there, and it's morning, then the sun would be over there. And if it's actually over there, and it's still morning, well, then we must have come from up there. And if that is southerly, and the sun is over there, well, then it's the afternoon.
Why don't you go and have a look?
Pragmatism. Is that all you have to offer? You seem to have no conception of where we stand.
I merely suggest that the position of the sun, if it is out, would give you a rough idea of the time. Alternatively, the clock, if it is going, would give you a rough idea of the position of the sun. I forget what you're trying to establish.
I'm trying to establish the direction of the wind.
What's coming up through the floor? That can't be south, can it?
What in God's name is the matter with you?
Perhaps they've all trampled each other to death in the rush. Give them a shout! Something provocative. Intrigue them.
Wheels have been set in motion, and they have their own pace, to which we are condemned. Each move is dictated by the previous one. That is the meaning of order.
Fire! Where? It's all right. I'm demonstrating the misuse of free speech to prove that it exists.
What was it?
What?
Heads or tails?
Oh, I didn't look.
Yes, you did.
Oh, did I? Quite right, it rings a bell.
What is the last thing that you remember?
I don't wish to be reminded of it. Ah! Nope! Double bluff.
Well, sirs, follow him, friends. We'll hear a play tomorrow night. Dost thou hear me, old friend? Can you play the murder of Gonzago?
Aye, my lord.
We'll have tomorrow night. You could, for a need, study a speech of 12 or 16 lines, which I would set down and insert in it. Could you not?
Aye, my lord.
Very well. Follow that lord, and look you mock him not. My good friends, I'll leave you till tonight. You are welcome to Elsinore.
Good, my lord. So, you've caught up with us.
Not yet, sir.
Now mind your tongue, or we'll have it out and throw the rest of you away, like a nightingale at a Roman feast.
Took the very words out of my mouth.
You'd be lost for words.
You'd be tongue-tied.
Like a mute in a monologue.
Like a nightingale at a Roman feast.
Your diction will go to
The
pieces.
lines will be cut.
To dumb shows.
And dramatic pauses.
You'll never find your tongue.
So you've caught up.
So you've caught up.
Not yet, sir. You left us.
Ah. You performed a dramatic spectacle on the way. Yes, I'm sorry we had to miss it.
We can't look each other in the face. You don't understand the humiliation of it. The plot was 2 corpses gone before we caught sight of ourselves. Stripped naked, in the middle of nowhere, pouring ourselves down a bottomless well.
We were speaking as no man ever spoke.
Swearing love in wigs and rhymed couplets.
Killing each other with wooden swords. Hollow protestations of faith hurled after empty promises of vengeance.
Every gesture and every pose vanishing into the thin, unpopulated air. Don't you see? We're actors. We're the opposite of people. Think in your heads. Now, think of the most private, secret, intimate thing you have ever done. Secure in the knowledge of its privacy? Are you thinking of it? Well, I saw you do it.
You never! It's a lie!
We're actors. We have pledged our identities, secure in the conventions of our trade, that someone would be watching. And then, gradually, no one was.
We were caught high and dry.
It was not until the murderer's long soliloquy were we able to look around, frozen as we were in profile. Our eyes searched you out.
First confidently,
Then hesitantly.
Then desperately, no one came forward.
No one shouted at
The
us.
silence was unbreakable.
it imposed itself upon us.
It was obscene!
We took off our crowns and swords and cloths of gold and moved silent on the road to Elsinore.
Brilliantly recreated. Oh, if these eyes could weep. Rather strong on metaphor, mind you, but no criticism, only a matter of taste. And so, here you are, with a vengeance. That's a fine figure of speech, isn't it?
So, give him a good, clean performance suitable for all the family, or you can rest assured you'll be playing the tavern tonight.
Or the night after. Or not. What will you play?
The murder of Gonzago.
Full of fine cadence and corpses.
Pirated from the Italian.
What is it about?
It's about a king.
And queen.
Escapism. What else?
Blood.
Love and rhetoric.
Yes.
You're evidently a man who knows his way around.
And I know which way the wind is blowing.
Operating on 2 levels, are we? How clever. I expect it comes naturally to you, being in the business, so to speak. The fact is, we value your company, for want of any other. We've been left so much to our own devices. After a while, one welcomes the uncertainty of being left to other people's.
Uncertainty is the norm. You're nobody special.
But for God's sake, what are we supposed to do?
Relax. Respond. That's what people do.
You can't go through life questioning your situation at every turn.
But we don't know what's going on or what to do with ourselves. We don't know how to act.
Act natural.
You know why you're here, at least.
We only know what we're told, and that's little enough. And for all we know, it isn't even true.
Everything has to be taken on trust. Truth is only that which is taken to be true.
It is the currency of living.
There might be nothing behind it, but it doesn't make any difference as long as it's honored.
One acts on assumptions.
What do you assume?
Hamlet is not himself. Outside or in, we have to glean what afflicts him.
He doesn't give much away.
Who does nowadays?
He's melancholy.
Melancholy?
Mad.
How is he mad?
Ah! How is he mad?
More morose than mad, perhaps.
Melancholy?
Moody.
He talks to himself, which might be madness,
If he didn't talk sense, which he does.
which suggests the opposite.
Of what?
I think I have it. A man talking sense to himself is no madder than a man talking nonsense not to himself.
Or just as mad.
Or just as mad.
And he does both.
So there you are.
Stark raving sane.
The old man thinks he's in love with his daughter.
Good God, we're out of our depth here!
No, he hasn't got a daughter. The old man thinks he's in love with his daughter.
The old man is.
Hamlet in love with the old man's daughter. The old man thinks.
Well, it's beginning to make sense. Unrequited passion.
Nobody leaves this room without a very good reason.
Why not? I have lines to learn.
Pass.
Next!
What did you expect?
Something. Someone? Nothing. Are you hungry?
No. Are you?
No. Do you remember that coin?
No.
I think I lost it.
What coin?
I don't remember exactly. Do you ever think of yourself as actually dead? Lying in a box with a lid on it?
No.
Nor do I really. I mean, it's silly to be depressed by it. I mean, one thinks of it like being alive in a box, but one keeps forgetting to take into account the fact that one is dead, which should make a difference, shouldn't it? I mean, you'd never know you were in a box, would you? It'd be like being asleep in a box. Not that I'd like to sleep in a box, mind you. Not without any air. You'd wake up dead for a start, and then where would you be? Be helpless, wouldn't you? Stuffed in a box like that, I mean, you'd be in there forever. Look, even taking into account the fact that you're dead, ask yourself, really, if I asked you straight off, I'm going to stuff you in this box now, would you rather be alive or dead? Well, naturally, you'd prefer to be alive. Life in a box is better than no life at all, I expect. And you'd have a chance, at least. You could lie there thinking, at least I'm not dead. In a minute, somebody's going to bang on the lid and tell me to come out. Hey, you! What's your name? Come out of there!
You don't have to flog it to death.
Eternity is a terrible thought. I mean, where's it going to end? You have no control. None at all. Whatever became of the moment when one first knew about death? I mean, it must have been a moment in childhood when it first occurred to you that you don't go on forever. What does one make of that? You must have been born with an intuition of mortality and time as its only measure.
They're taking us for granted. Well, I won't stand for it. In future, notice will be taken! Keep out then! I forbid anyone to enter!
That's better.
Death, followed by eternity. The worst of both worlds. It is a terrible thought.
Did he receive you well?
Most like a gentleman.
But with much forcing of his disposition.
Withhold of question, but of our demands most free in his reply.
Did you essay him to any pastime?
Madam, it so fell out that certain players we all wrought on the way. Of these we told him, and there did seem in him a kind of joy to hear of it. They are here about the court this night to play before him.
'Tis most true, and he did beseech me to entreat your majesties to both hear and see the matter.
With all my heart, and it doth content me to hear him so inclined. Good gentlemen, drive him to a further edge and push him onward into these delights.
We shall, my lord.
Sweet Gertrude, leave us too, for we have closely sent for Hamlet hither, so that he way us twirm by accident a frontal failure. Her father and myself, lawful as files, will so bestow ourselves, so that seeing unseen, we may up their encounter frankly judge if it be the affliction of his love or no that thus he suffers for.
I shall obey you. And for your part, Ophelia, I do hope that your good beauties be the happy cause of Hamlet's wildness. So shall I hope that your virtues will bring him to his wonted way again. They're both your honors.
Madam, I wish it may.
Ophelia, walk you here. Gracious, we so please you, we will bestow ourselves. Read upon this book that showeth such an exercise may conjure loneliness. We are oft to blame for this. 'Tis too much proved that with devotions visage and pious acts, we do sugar o'er the devil himself.
Never a moment's peace.
You're never satisfied.
He's coming.
What's he doing?
Nothing.
He must be doing something.
To be or not to be? That is the question. But it's nobler in the mind to suffer the slings
Nevertheless,
and arrows of outrageous
I
fortune,
suppose one might say
or
that
to
this
take all
was
the
a
chances
chance.
and troubles, and by opposing, and then
One might, well,
Die.
accost him.
to sleep, to say no more,
Yes,
to say we end the heart
Definitely
of
looks like a
thousand
chance to
natural
me.
shocks that flesh is heir to.
something on the lines of a
It's a
direct,
consummation
informal
bound to be
approach.
wished.
Man to man.
Nymph in thy orisons, be all my sins remembered.
Good my lord, how does your honor for this many a day?
I humbly thank you. Well, well.
Oh, my lord, I have remembrances of yours that I have long and longed to redeliver. I pray you now receive them.
Are you honest?
My lord,
Are you fair?
what means your lordship?
I did love you once.
Indeed, my lord, you did make me believe so. I was the more deceived.
It's like living in a public park.
Very impressive. Yes, I thought your direct, informal approach was going to stop this thing dead in its tracks there. If I might make a suggestion, shut up and sit down. Stop being perverse.
I'm not going to stand for it. Guess who?
What are you doing?
Dress rehearsal. Now you two remain over there. Good. Have a seat. Everyone ready? And for goodness sakes, remember what we are doing. We always use the same costumes, more or less. And they forget what they're supposed to be, and you see. Stop picking your nose, Alfred! Positions. And go.
A full 30 times hath Phoebus's card.
No! Dumb show first, your confounded majesty! They're a bit out of practice, but they always pick up wonderfully for the deaths. It brings out the poetry in them.
How nice.
There's nothing more unconvincing than an unconvincing death.
I'm sure.
Act 1 moves now.
What is this dumb show for?
Well, it's a device, really. It makes the action that follows more or less comprehensible. You understand, we are tied down to a language which makes up in obscurity what it lacks in style.
Who was that?
The king's brother, an uncle to the prince.
It has made me mad! I say, we will have no more marriage. Those that are married already, all but one shall live. The rest shall keep as they are. To a nunnery, go.
A full 30 times hath Phoebus's card.
Love, his affections do not that way tend, or what he spake, though it lacked form a little, was not like madness. There is something in his soul, or which his melancholy sets on brood, and I do doubt that the hatch and disclose will be of some danger. Which, for to prevent, I have thus quickly set it down, he shall with speed to England.
Gentlemen, it doesn't seem to be coming. We're not getting it at all. What did you think?
What was I supposed to think?
You're not getting across.
That didn't look like love to me.
Act 2, positions.
Wasn't that the end?
Do you call that an ending with practically everyone on their feet? My goodness, no. Over your dead body.
How am I supposed to take that?
Lying down. There's a design at work in all art. Surely you know that. Events must play themselves out to an aesthetic, moral, and logical conclusion.
And what's that in this case?
We're tragedians. We follow directions. There's no choice involved. The bad and unhappily, and the good unluckily. That is what tragedy means. Have a seat. Positions! And go. Having murdered his brother and wooed the widow, the poisoner mounts the throne. Here we see him and his queen give rein to their unbridled passion. She, little knowing that the man she holds.
Oh, I say here, really, you can't do that!
Why not?
Well, really, I mean, people want to be entertained. They don't come expecting sordid and gratuitous filth.
You're wrong, they do.
Murder, seduction, and incest! What do you want? Jokes?
I want a good story with a beginning, middle, and end.
And you?
I prefer art to mirror life, if it's all the same to you.
It's all the same to me, sir. All right, no need to indulge yourselves. I come on in a minute. Lucinius, nephew to the king. Next! Lucinius, nephew to the king. Usurped by his uncle and shattered by his mother's incestuous marriage. Loses his reason, sending the court into turmoil. He alternates between bitter melancholy and unrestricted lunacy, staggering from the suicidal to the homicidal. He at last confronts his mother and, in a scene of provocative ambiguity, begs her to repent and recant. The king, tormented by guilt, haunted by fear, decides to dispatch his nephew to England and entrusts this undertaking to two smiling accomplices, friends, courtiers, to two spies, giving them a letter to present to the English court. And so, they depart on board ship. And they arrive and disembark and present themselves before the English king. The English king. But where is the prince? Where indeed? The plot has thickened, and a twist of fate and cunning has put into their hands a letter that seals their deaths. Traitors, hoisted by their own petard, or victims of the gods. We shall never know.
Well, if it isn't. I know you, don't I? I never forget a face. Not that I know yours, that is. Yeah, for a moment I thought that... No, I don't know you, do I? Yes, I'm afraid you're quite wrong. You must have mistaken me for someone else.
Are you familiar with this play?
No.
A slaughterhouse. 8 corpses all told. Brings out the best in us.
You! What do you know about death?
It's what the actors do best. We have to work with whatever talent we are given, and their talent is dying. They can die heroically, comically, ironically, slowly, suddenly, disgustingly, charmingly, or from a great height.
Is that all they can do? Die?
No. They kill beautifully, too. In fact, some of them kill even better than they die.
Which one's a which?
No, there's not much in it.
Actors. The mechanics of cheap melodrama. That isn't death.
Audiences know what to expect, and that is all that they are prepared to believe in. Show!
No. You've got it all wrong. You can't act death. The fact of it has nothing to do with seeing it happen. It's not blood, gasps, falling about. That isn't what makes it death. It's just a man failing to reappear. That's all. Now you see him, now you don't. That's the only thing that's real. Here 1 minute and gone the next, and never coming back. An exit, unobtrusive and unannounced. A disappearance, gathering weight as it goes on, until finally it is heavy with death.
That must be east then. I think we can assume that.
I'm assuming nothing.
No, it's all right. That's the sun. East.
They're waiting to see what we're going to do. As soon as we make a move, they'll come pouring in from every side, shouting obscure instructions, confusing us with ridiculous remarks, messing us about from here to breakfast, and getting our names wrong.
Ho, Guildenstern!
You're wanted!
Friends both, go you with some further aid. Hamlet and Madness had Polonius slain, and from his mother's closet hath he dragged him. Go seek him out, speak fair, and bring the body to the chapel. I pray you hasten this. Sweet Gertrude, we'll call up our wisest friends and let them know both what we intend to do.
Well,
Quite.
well.
Quite. Seek him out. Seek him out. Where does one begin?
Well, that's a step in the right direction.
Do you think so? Well, he could be anywhere.
All right. You go that way, I'll go this way.
Right. No. You go this way, I'll go that way.
All right.
Wait a minute. I think we should stick together. He might be violent.
Good point. I'll come with you.
I've just thought. If we both go, he could come back here. Well, that would be stupid, wouldn't it?
All right. I'll stay. You go. Well, at last we're getting somewhere. Of course, he might not come.
No, he'll come. Don't worry. Take my word for it. He's coming.
What's he doing?
Walking.
Alone?
No.
Who's with him?
The old man.
Ah! There's an opening if ever there was one. Let him walk into the trap.
What trap?
You stand there. Don't let him pass.
That was close.
There's a limit to what two people can do.
He was dead.
Of course he's dead.
Give him a shout.
I thought we'd been into all that.
Hamlet!
Don't be absurd.
Lord Hamlet! What have you done, my lord, with the dead body?
Compounded it with dust, whereto 'tis kin.
Tell us where it is, that we may take it thence and bear it to the chapel.
Do not believe it,
Believe what?
that I can keep your counsel and not my own. Besides, to be demanded of a sponge, what replication should be made by the son of a king?
Take you me for a sponge, my lord?
Ah, sir, that soaks up the king's countenance, his rewards, his authorities. But such officers do the king best service in the end. And he keeps them like an ape, in the corner of his jaw, first mouth. To be last swallowed. When he needs what you have gleaned, it is but squeezing you. And sponge, you shall be dry again.
I understand you not, my lord.
I am glad of it. A knavish speech sleeps in a foolish ear.
My lord, you must tell us where the body is and go with us to the king.
The body is with the king. But the king is not with the body. The king is a thing.
A thing, my lord?
Of nothing. Bring me to him. Hide fox, and all after. Oh!
Oh!
How now? What hath befallen?
Where the body is bestowed, my lord, we cannot get from him.
I like him not, nor stands it safe with us to let his madness rage. Therefore, prepare you. I, your commission, will forthwith dispatch, and he to England shall along with you. The terms of our state may not survive the dangers that do grow every hour out of his lunacies. Bring him before us!
Ho! Bring in the Lord! All right then.
And yet, it doesn't seem enough to have breathed such significance. Can that be all?
I don't pretend to have understood. Frankly, I'm not very interested. If they won't tell us, that's their affair. For my part, I'm only glad that that's the last we've seen of him. Thank God!
I knew it wasn't the end.
What else?
We're taking him to England. What's he doing?
Talking!
To himself?
No! He's with a soldier. Should we go?
Where?
Anywhere. They'll have us hanging about till we're dead, at least. And the weather will change. Spring can't last forever.
Good sir, what powers are these?
They are of Norway, sir,
How purpose, sir, I pray you?
against some part of Poland.
Who commands them, sir?
the great nephew to old Norway, Forterbra.
I humbly thank you, sir.
God, by you, sir.
Will it please you go, my lord?
I'll be with you straight. Go you a little before.
What's he doing?
Talking?
To himself?
Yes. He said we can go, cross my heart.
I like to know where I am. Even when I don't know where I am, I like to know that. If we go, there's no knowing.
No knowing what?
If we'll ever come back.
We've come this far. Besides, anything could happen yet.
Are you there?
Where? Is that you?
Yes!
How do you know?
Oh, for God's sake!
We're not finished then.
Well, we're here, aren't we?
Are we? I can't see a thing.
You can still think, can't you?
I think so.
You can still talk.
What should I say?
Don't bother. You can feel, can't you?
A leg. Yeah, yes, it feels like my leg.
How does it feel?
Dead?
Dead?
I can't feel a thing.
Give it a pinch. Ow!
All right.
Well, that's cleared that up.
Who's
Move down, me hearty.
you, Clarkson? Hello, is that you?
Hard port.
Is
Keep her steady on your knees. All the way, lads.
Sergeant Joe!
Top sail up, mateys.
We're on a boat.
Dark, isn't it?
Not for night.
No, not for night.
Dark for day.
Oh, yes, it's dark for day.
We must have gone north, of course.
Of course.
Land of the midnight sun, that is.
Of course.
Hard larboard. Jumping on deck.
Are you ready?
Oh, I think it's getting light. Yes. It's lighter than it was. It'll be night soon. I suppose we'll have to go to sleep.
Tired?
Now. Well, shall we stretch our legs?
I don't feel like stretching my legs.
I'll stretch them for you if you like.
No!
We could stretch each other's. That way we wouldn't have to go anywhere.
No! Somebody might come in.
In where?
Out here!
In out here.
On deck!
Yeah. 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 Oh, nice bit of planking that.
Yes, I'm very fond of boats myself. You don't have to worry about which way to go or whether to go at all. The question doesn't arise because you're on a boat, aren't you? I think I'll spend most of my life on boats.
Very healthy. Oh, I think I'm going to be sick.
Other side, I think. Our truancy is defined by one fixed star, and our drift represents a slight change of angle to it. We may seize the moment, or toss it around while the moments pass. But we are brought round full circle to face again the single immutable fact that we, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, are taking Hamlet to England.
Say, he's here.
What's he doing?
Sleeping.
It's all right for him.
What is?
He can sleep.
He's got us.
And we've got nothing.
What now?
What do you expect? We act on scraps of information, sifting half-remembered directions that we can hardly separate from instinct.
Hey!
Hey.
You had money in both hands.
Yes.
What's the point of that?
I wanted to make you happy.
How much did he give you?
Who?
The king. He gave us some money.
How much did he give you?
He wouldn't discriminate between us.
How do you know?
How do you know?
He wouldn't discriminate between us.
He couldn't even be sure mixing us up.
Without mixing us up.
Why don't you say something original? No wonder this whole thing is such a shamble. You don't take me up on anything. You just repeat it in a different order.
Can't think of anything original. I'm only good in support. Must be your dominant personality. What's going to become of us?
Don't cry. It's all right. There. I'll see we're all right.
But we've got nothing to go on. We're out on our own.
We're going to England. We're taking Hamlet there.
What for?
What for? Where have you been?
When? We won't know what to do when we get there.
We take him to the king. We've got a letter. You remember the letter.
Do I?
Everything is explained in the letter. We count on that.
We take Hamlet to the English king. We hand over the letter. Then what?
There might be something in the letter to keep us going a bit.
And if not,
that's it. We're finished.
Are there likely to be loose ends? Who is the English king?
Well, that depends on when we get there.
What do you think it says?
Well, greetings, expressions of loyalty, asking of favors, calling in of debts. Obscure promises balanced by vague threats. Diplomacy, regards to the family.
So, we've got a letter which explains everything.
You've got it. What's the matter?
The letter.
Have you got it?
Have I? Where would I put it?
You can't have lost it.
I must have.
That's odd. I thought he gave it to me. If he gave it to me, then there's no reason you should have had it in the first place. In which case, I don't see what all the fuss is about you not having it.
I admit it's confusing.
This is all getting rather reminiscent. The boat, the night, the sense of isolation and uncertainty. We must not lose control. Time now. Either you've lost the letter, or you never had it to lose in the first place. In which case, the king never gave it to you. In which case, he gave it to me. In which case, I would have put it inside my coin pouch. In which case, it will be here. We mustn't drop off like that again.
Now that we have found it, why were we looking for it?
We thought it was lost.
What was the last thing I said before we wandered off?
When was that?
I don't remember.
What a shambles. We're just not getting anywhere.
Not even England. I don't believe in it anyway.
Don't give up. We can't be long now.
Might as well be dead. Do you think death could possibly be a boat?
No. Death is not. Death isn't. You take my meaning. Death is the ultimate negative.
I wish I was dead. If I could jump over the side, that would put a spoke in their wheel.
Unless they're counting on it.
I shall remain on board. That'll put a spoke in their wheel. All right. We don't question. We don't doubt. We perform. But a line must be drawn somewhere, and I would like it put on record that I have no confidence in England. Thank you, Brexit. Even if it's real, it'd just be another shamble.
I don't see why.
He won't know what we're talking about. What are we going to say?
We say, Your Majesty, we have arrived.
Oh! And who are you?
We are Rosencrantz and Guildenstern.
Never heard of you.
Well, we're nobody special.
What's your game?
Let me finish. We've come from Denmark.
What do you want?
Nothing. We're delivering Hamlet.
Who's he?
You've heard of him.
No, I've heard of him all right, and I want nothing to do with it.
We've got a letter.
I see, I see. Well, this seems to support your story, such as it is. It is an exact command from the King of Denmark for several different reasons, importing Denmark's help and England's too, that on the reading of this letter without delay, I should have Hamlet's head cut off. Sun's going down. It'll be dark soon.
Do you think so?
I was just making conversation. We're his friends.
How do you know?
From our young days, brought up with him.
Well, yes. But again, no. Let us keep things in proportion. Assume, if you like, that they are going to kill him. Well, he is a man, he is mortal, but death comes to us all, etc. And consequently, he would have died anyway, sooner or later. All in all, I think we'd be well advised to leave well alone. Tie up the letter, neatly, like that. They won't notice the broken seal, assuming you're in character.
The position as I see it then. We, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, from our young days brought up with him, are summoned and arrive, and are instructed to glean what afflicts him, and draw him to pleasures, such as a play, which unfortunately, as it turns out, is abandoned in some confusion owing to certain nuances outside our appreciation, which results in, among other effects, a high, not to say homicidal excitement in Hamlet, whom we, in consequence, are escorting for his own good to England. Good! We're on top of it now. I'm assuming nothing. Hey. The position, as I see it then, The king gave me the same as you. The king gave you the same as me. The king never gave me the letter. The king gave you the letter. We don't know what's in the letter. We take Hamlet to the English king, it depending on when we get there who he is, and we hand over the letter. Could have done worse. I don't think we missed any chance. Not that we're getting much help. If we stopped breathing, we'd vanish.
Here we go.
Same boat then. Everybody out. Alfred!
What are you doing?
Traveling. Right. Blend into the background. Pleased to see us. You seem to have come out of it well. So far.
And you?
In disfavor. Our play offended the king.
Yes.
Well, he's a second husband himself. Tactless, really.
It was quite a good play, nevertheless.
We never really got going. It was getting quite interesting when they stopped it.
What were you doing in there?
Hiding. We had to run for it just as we were.
Stowaways!
Naturally, we didn't get paid, owing to circumstances ever so slightly beyond our control, and all the money we had, we lost betting on certainties.
Yeah, life is a gamble.
But we troopers keep going on and on, and on and on, and on.
Do you know what happens to old actors?
What?
Nothing, they're still acting. Surprised?
What?
Surprised to see us.
If I knew it wasn't the end. Really boils down to his symptoms. Pregnant replies, mystic illusions, mistaken identities. Arguing his father is his mother. Intimations of suicide, forgoing of exercise, loss of mirth. Hints of claustrophobia, not to say delusions of imprisonment. Invocations of whales, weasels, hawks, handsaws. Riddles, amnesia, paranoia, hallucinations, daydreaming. Stabbing his elders, abusing his parents, insulting his lover, and appearing hatless in public. Knock kneed, droop stockinged, and sighing like a lovesick schoolboy, which at his age is coming on a bit strong.
And talking to himself.
And talking to himself. Well, where's that got us?
He's the player.
His play offended the king, who orders his arrest. So he escapes to England.
On the boat to which he meets
Guildenstern and Rosencrantz,
who also offended the king.
And kill Polonius.
Offended the king in a variety of ways.
To England. That seems to be it.
Incidents. All we get is incidents. Dear God, is it too much to expect a little sustained action? Pirates! They've gone! That was close. I've never thought quicker. Where's...
Alone again. On our own resources.
What do you mean? Where is he?
Gone.
Gone where?
Dead?
Who knows?
He's not coming back.
Hardly.
He's dead, then. He's dead as far as we're concerned.
But he can't. We're supposed to be. We got a letter. We're going to England with a letter for the king. Nothing will be resolved without him.
There!
We need Hamlet for our release.
Be happy. Can't even be happy. What's so good about surviving? We'll be all right. Suppose we just go on.
Go where?
To England.
England? That's a dead end. I never believed in it anyway.
All we've got to do is make our report, and that'll be that.
Surely.
And even if we came face to face, what do we say?
We say we've arrived.
And who are you?
We are Guildenstern and Rosencrantz.
Which is which?
Well, you're...
What's it all about?
Well, we were bringing Hamlet, but then some pirates.
I don't begin to understand. Who are all these people? What's it got to do with me? You turn up out of the blue with some cock and bull story.
We have a letter!
A letter? Yes. That's something. A letter. As England is Denmark's faithful tributary, as love between them like the palm might flourish, etc., that on the knowing of its contents, without delay of any kind, should those bearers, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, put to sudden death.
They've gone! It's all over.
Where we went wrong was getting on a boat. We can move course, change direction, travel about. But our movement is contained within a larger one, which carries us on as inexorably as the wind and current.
They had it in for us, didn't they? Right from the beginning. Who'd have thought that we were so important?
But why? Was it all for this? Who are we that so much to converge on our little deaths? Who are we?
You are Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. That's enough.
No. No, it is not enough. To be told so little to such an end, and still finally to be denied an explanation.
In our experience, most things end in death.
Your experience? Actors? I'm talking about death. And you've never experienced that. And you cannot act it. Because even as you die, you know that you will come back in a different hat. But no one gets up after death. There is no applause. Only silence at some second-hand clothes. And that's death! If we have a destiny, so had he. And if this was ours, then that was his. And if there are no explanations for us, then let there be none for him.
Gentlemen, thank you. It was merely competent. You see, it's what they do believe in. It's what's expected.
Oh, very good. Very good. Took me in completely. Didn't he take you in completely? Encore. Encore.
Deaths for all ages and occasions. Deaths by suspension, consumption, convulsion, incision, execution, asphyxiation, and malnutrition. Climactic carnage by poison and by steel. Double deaths by duel. Show! So, that's it into that. It's commonplace. Light goes with life. And in the winter of your years, the dark comes early.
No. No. Not for us. Not like that.
Death is not romantic. Dying is not a game which will soon be over. Death is not anything. Death is not. It's the absence of presence. Nothing more. The endless time of never coming back. A gap you can't see. And when the wind blows through it, it makes no sound.
That's it then, is it? What's it all about? When did it begin? We've done nothing wrong. We didn't harm anyone, did we?
Can't remember.
All right then. I don't care. I've had enough. To tell you the truth, I'm relieved.
Our names, shouted in a certain dawn. A message? A summons. There must have been a time in the beginning when we could have said no. Somehow we missed it. Rosen? Gil? Well, we'll know better next time. Now you see me. Now, you.
bears this sight.
What is it you would see? If aught of woe or wonder, cease your search.
This query cries on havoc, O proud death. What beestest toward in thine eternal cell, that thou so many princes at a shot, so bloodily hast struck?
The signal is dismal, and our fares from England come too late. The ears are senseless that should give us hearing to tell him that his commandment is fulfilled. That Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead. Where should we have our thanks?
Not from his mouth. Had it the ability of life to thank you. He never gave commandment for their deaths. But since so jump upon this bloody question, you from the Polish wars and you from England are here arrived. Give order that these bodies high on a stage be placed to the view. And let me speak to the unknowing world how these things came about. So shall you hear of carnal, bloody, and unnatural acts, of accidental judgments, casual slaughters, of deaths put on by cutting and forced cause, and in this upshot, purposes mistook, fallen on the inventors' heads. All this can I truly deliver.